Today we're going to install the Pace Edwards Full Metal Jackrabbit on this 2019 Ram new body style 1500 with a 5'7" bed. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is install our bulkhead seal. Now that's going to go right across the top of the bulkhead. You're going to want to position that as far back on the bulkhead as possible, as far away from the cab as possible without falling down into the bed of the truck. So what we're going to do is just pull away the adhesive protector away from our seal. Put that all the way up against the bed cap and just kind of guide it down into place. Pull away a little bit of the tape protector at a time. Now, something to know is I already wiped down this whole surface of the bulkhead with rubbing alcohol. That removes any kind of oil residue, any kind of wax buildup, anything like that. That way I've got a good surface to make contact with my adhesive. When we get over to the other side, we're going to cut it to length so that it terminates directly into the other bed cap. All right, so now I've already gone ahead and taken the canister out of the box. I put the box in the bed upside down. I'm actually going to use the box to support the canister. Before I do that, I need to take off these boards off the end of the canister. We're just going to use a 3/8 socket, pull both of those off, and discard the board. It's just used in packaging. All right, now I've gone ahead and put the canister on top of the box. I'm just behind the cab of the truck. I'm not pushed all the way up to the bulkhead. Next, I can go ahead and install the rails onto the canister. All right, now I'm going to start with the passenger side rail. What I do on the passenger side is going to be the exact same thing I do on the driver's side. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to locate a big opening. This is going to go towards the inside of the bed of the truck. This is the part that the cover will slide back and forth inside. When I flip that around, I'm also going to see a large cutout towards the front. This is showing me this is my passenger side rail. Next, what I want to go ahead and do is pull away my seal protectors. Just get that out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and line this up to my canister. Before I get any further though, I do have a latch mechanism that's coming out. So I'm going to turn my latch on top of the cover to retract that in. All right, now what I need to do is I have to make sure everything lines up. So this groove right here is going to slide through this notch on the outside portion of the canister, and then this groove right here is going to slide through this notch, but the blank of the cover has to fit into the channel. So what I'm going to do is pull the back end of the opening of that channel right up to the cover and slide that in place. Once I have that slid in place, I'm going to look at the inside, make sure that it's locked into that channel. And once I have this outside groove lined up, I'm going to rotate this down to where the inside groove can line up, and then I just slide it together. Go all the way up till it hits the back of the canister. All right, now when we look up underneath the canister, we've got a flange coming out here. On the bottom side, after we've slid in the rail, we're going to notice there's a little hole there. That's going to line up to a threaded hole in the bottom of the rail. Now, in your kit, you're going to have a Phillips head bolt along with a lock washer and a flat washer. We're going to put that up through that hole and line it up to the threaded hole in the rail and tighten that down with a Phillips head screwdriver. And we're going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now that I've got both rails installed, I'm going to go ahead and slide the entire unit forward to where it hits the bulkhead. And then I'm going to lift up the canister and remove the box. Next, what we'll want to do is go ahead and make sure that both rails are pushed all the way forward. Then we can go ahead and slowly lift the tailgate and shut that, and make sure we have an 1/8 inch gap between the tailgate and the rail on both sides. Now, if you have a bed rug, you want to make sure the bed rug is as low on that tailgate as possible. If you have the plastic drop-in liner from the factory, you'll need to trim that liner all the way across the top, about a 1/2 inch down from the top of the bed cap. Okay, now here is our clamp half that we're going to install to the rail. Now, if you look at the bottom side of the rail, here I'm on the passenger side, you're going to see this little aluminum piece hanging down. Then you've got a little bit of a groove that's going here with a cutout, and then it continues again. Now, there's also a groove on the inside of this clamp. What that needs to do is slide up in place and lock into position right where the cutout is. We're going to rotate that up and slide that forward, and that will now have completely engaged into the rail. Next, we can put our other clamp half on. Okay, here's our other clamp half. What we're going to need to do is line up this piece with this one and slide them together. In order to do that, typically what you want to do is kind of twist the rail just a little bit. That way they can line up. You slide it in place, drop it back down. Next, we're going to take one of our clamp bolts. We're going to take a lock washer and a flat washer, put them down through there, go through the two oval holes, and on the back side we have what's called a barrel nut. That's going to go right along to the back side of the bolt. We're going to thread that bolt into the barrel nut. Once we get that in there, we're going to go ahead and start to tighten it down. As it tightens down, it's going to both pull the rail down and to the bed cap. Now, the rear clamp is very similar, but we're going to have one extra step. So go ahead and put our first clamp half in place, slide it forward. The other clamp half, we're going to slip up in, rotate the rail around so we can line them up. Use the clamp bolt with lock washer and flat washer, go through, thread on the barrel nut in the back. Now, once this is snugged up, you're going to notice this rail can still wiggle back and forth. So the way we're going to firm that up is we're going to take this kickstand and install that. Now, before we go too far with the kickstand, the way that goes in is essentially this wing nut comes off, and the kickstand has to go up against the bed of the truck and slide through that hole. Now, you may notice that even if we rotate this all the way down, it doesn't quite line up to the hole. So what we want to do is pull off this piece here and back this entire kickstand out. Once it's all the way out, we're going to rotate this around and run the kickstand back through. That's going to give us a little bit more space for adjustment on that kickstand. And we can put our end cap back onto the bolt. Now we can slide that bolt through the clamp and then adjust our kickstand up to the bed cap. Now we want to get that kickstand to where it hits the bed cap nice and flush, that we're not going at a real severe angle. Once we get to where it's contacted on the opposite side where the bolt is coming out, we're going to use our flat washer, our lock washer, and our wing nut. Put that back together, hold the kickstand in place and tighten it down. Then we're going to go ahead and rotate the bolt on the kickstand until it makes our rail nice and level. Now for both of those clamps, we're going to repeat the same process on the driver's side. All right, now inside the box also you'll find the canister cover. Taped to the bottom side of the canister cover, you're going to have a little packet of 303. This is a lubricant and also protectant. What we're going to do is we're going to tear that open, pull the little towelette out, and that's already pre-moistened with the product. We're going to put it inside the rail, and we're going to lubricate the wear strip and also the bottom of the seal on top. We're going to do that on both sides. All right, next we're going to go ahead and take our canister cover and line it up to the holes in the canister. Now, these holes that are threaded holes actually slide back and forth inside the housing. So we're just going to line that up. Once we get that lined up, we're going to take one of our black Phillips head screws, go down through the canister, and just get that screw started so we can still line that up. Line the other one up on the opposite side, and then we can tighten them down. Now we're going to line it up to the front edge of the rail, and then tighten it down with a Phillips head screwdriver. Do that on both sides. All right, next we're going to go ahead and pull the cable. That's going to re-engage our latch mechanism. Now we're going to test it, make sure it stops, hit all of our latching points all the way to the tailgate. Next, close the tailgate, make sure it closes properly. Now underneath the truck, we're going to get up underneath here and attach our Velcro to the bottom of the rail. Now I've already wiped down the bottom of this rail with rubbing alcohol, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of Velcro, I'm going to peel half of the adhesive protector back. Next I'm going to go ahead and line it up on the bottom of the rail and stick it to it. What this is for is so we can take and hold our strap out of the way. Now another place you can attach the strap is around your tie-down hoop. Now it's already got some Velcro. You can Velcro to itself and loop around like so. Very important reason why you want to do that is because if you're driving with the cover open, you don't want to keep the strap on top of the canister. If the strap were to work its way between the cab of the truck and the bed, it can get wrapped around the drive shaft and do a lot of damage. So keep it out of the way, safety first. All right, next we want to go ahead and install our drain tube. Now on the Ram, there's a little kick out that's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my utility blade, I'm going to slice through my bed rug, run the end of the drain tube through that hole, and that's going to go right through the bed of the truck. Next I can take the cap end of the drain tube, find the hole in the bottom of the canister, and snap it into place. Once you hear it click twice, it's installed. We're going to do that on both sides. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.